Just because you played before me does not mean you deserve respect. I'm sorry.
Hello world, it's your boy Kelvin coming back at you behind the bench. So today we're going to talk about Draymond Green. You know, the goofball from the Golden State Warriors who's always running his mouth. One of the spokesperson for Clutch, the number 2 guy for Clutch, right behind LeBron. LeBron's BFF. You know, Draymond, one of the dirtiest guys in the NBA. Let them know, Skip.
In my career, I have never seen anything like this phenomenon. Draymond Green is, no exaggeration, the dirtiest player in NBA history by far. The dirtiest player in NBA history by far is Draymond Green.
Green putting a move on Adams, and he is fouled. And that's the second time that Green and let's say...
That's right. You know, the Draymond Green who beats up his teammates. Yeah, that Draymond. You know, the one we all love, Mr. Triple Single, Draymond Green. Yeah, that one. So, I ran across some comments on Twitter or X, whatever it's called now. I saw some comments about Draymond Green on his podcast. He was talking with Baron Davis. I guess Baron Davis is now a co-host or something. I don't know. But anyway, these comments kind of confused me, and I was just like, huh? It was about players of the past and what he thinks about legends and players of the past. And I'm going to let you guys hear the comments real quick, and I'll be right back.
People say you must respect each era, but the past eras don't respect this era.
I don't think that's true.
Shit, me. You don't see some of the things these guys say?
The respect from the old is really, do the young dudes fuck with us? Do they know who we are? That's why you get a lot of hate from the older generation, because they just want to be kept alive. One era always think that the other era is sorry until you leave the game and have an appreciation for the talent that you have to play against.
I disagree in the fact that, no, like these eras don't respect us. Like I've seen several guys talk over and over and over again, not in a positive light. I don't think that respect is passed down to us from the other generations, but I think people are quick to say, oh, you got to respect them because they came before. I don't agree with that.
You absolutely have to absolutely respect the people who came before you, because
my respect is earned. And what you did to somebody else don't necessarily earn you respect. Just because you played before me does not mean you deserve respect. I'm sorry, but God had in his plan for you to be born before me, and you just deserve respect because of that? Nah, my mom ain't raised me that way. Respect is earned.
All right, good people. That was Draymond Green. Some comments he made on his podcast. Now I must say those comments were absolutely ridiculous and stupid. He said, just because you were born before me, you came before me, doesn't mean that I respect you. I have to respect you. That is stupid, man. That is very dumb, because we're talking about the NBA, okay? Now, when you talk about the legends and the guys who came before, who paved the way, you have to give them respect, Draymond, because without them doing what they did, you wouldn't be in the position that you are right now to make a living, to make the money that you made in your career. You know, you've been very overpaid and overhyped, and they probably gonna put you in the Hall of Fame and all that type of stuff. It wouldn't be no NBA. It wouldn't be no money. It wouldn't be no Hall of Fame. It wouldn't be no Warriors. It wouldn't be no drafted or none of that if it wasn't for what the guys did before. So you have to give them respect for that. Now, does that mean you have to agree with everything they say? No. Does that mean you have to get along with every legend of the past? No. But it does not mean that you disrespect them. You have to give them a certain amount of respect, because especially the guys way back in the day, like in the 50s and 60s and stuff like that, you know, they love to call them plumbers and all this old stupid crap, but a lot of them did have to have second jobs and stuff like that, because at the beginning they wasn't making enough money. So in the off season, they did have to go work and stuff like that, you know. And so, and as time went on, the generations went on, like about around the 70s, you know, 60s, late 60s and 70s, stuff like that. And going on the 80s and 90s and going forward, these players did not need to have second jobs. They were able to make a living, but they went through all the hardships and they built the league up to what it is. That way, Draymond Green, you can have $100 million contract that you do not deserve, you know. So I don't understand that. But what this is, ladies and gentlemen, this is the LeBron James poison. His mindset has infected the young players and the young fans, and it's actually a microcosm of society itself today, where young people, they disrespect their elders. You see, when I was coming up, we was watching the games in the 80s and 90s and stuff like that. You know, it wasn't no disrespect. You know, there was no disrespecting the previous eras that came before. There was no disrespecting the Elgin Baylors, the Jerry West, Dr. J, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell. You know, when they talked about the guys of the past when I was growing up, these guys were like mythical figures. You know, we didn't see much. It wasn't a lot of footage. We didn't get to see them. It wasn't no YouTube. We seen them in interviews here and there, and you would read about them in books, and you would hear, you know, all the stats and the feats, and it was reverence. It was respect, because it was just a different time, a different era. And, you know, it started out at home, man. Your parents taught you respect for your elders, respect for people who paved the way. But I don't know what the deal is with this particular generation. I call this the LeBron James mindset poison that he has brought to this generation. He is the face of this generation, the face of disrespect. Everything around him, everybody affiliated with him, they just speak and talk disrespect. I know you're saying, well, this video is not about LeBron per se. No, it's not. But when you hear the Draymond Greens and you hear the other people that's around LeBron, that's affiliated with him, and they say things like this, they're really speaking for him. When you hear the Nick Wrights say disrespectful things about Michael Jordan and stuff like that, they're really speaking for LeBron James. These are the type of conversations that these guys have behind the scenes, you know. Oh, man, F Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and them old dudes, you know what I'm saying? That's why when you hear the Rich Pauls and stuff go on these podcasts and they disrespect Bob Cousy and all this type of stuff, these are the type of conversations that LeBron and his camp, this is the type of conversation that they're having behind the scenes. See, LeBron, he not going to say it in public. You know, he'll try to be PC and nice or whatever, even though we all know he'll snake. You know, every now and then he'll say something stupid like he did on McAfee's show about Giannis and the 250 points or whatever, but he wants to have this fake clean-cut image. So the guys around him say all the dirty stuff, you know, and they take all the hits. In reality, that's him saying this stuff through them, through the Shannon Sharps and stuff like that. Oh man, Michael Jordan didn't play nobody, and the Pistons are old and all this other stupid stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? And see, what is happening is, it's a divide now. It's a divide between the older fans and the younger fans, the older players and the younger players. And no, Draymond Green, it's not the older players attacking the younger players. What it is the older players responding. And then when they respond, y'all get in y'all feelings. You know, the older players, you know, they want y'all to uphold the standard of the previous generations. And they try to give y'all advice and, you know, and give you criticism to try to improve. Not that they looking down, they want y'all to improve. They want y'all to carry the game forward. And they look at it, these young players, they look at it as hating it. Oh man, these old guys, they bitter and hating. And really, in reality, it's not. And then it's back and forth, it's friction, and then you see where the game is right now. The ratings on the toilet and nobody watching, you know. And then like I said, when the old guys respond, y'all get mad and all sensitive. I want y'all to listen to this clip by Dominique Wilkins. What he said, I think it was last year or year before, this whole thing with J.J. Redick when they was disrespecting him. I want y'all to hear Dominique Wilkins, and then I'm going to come back.
J.J. Redick made some comments also about Bird. He said he isn't a top 5 shooter, and he also didn't have the physicality that you have today, and you responded to that.
He's stupid. I mean, it's a stupid comment because Larry Bird played in the most physical era ever. He's 6'10", almost 6'11", and he was physical himself. To say that he wouldn't be able to play in this league because this league too physical, like, what league you watching? Physicality is gone. It's not like it was back then. And it's nobody's fault. It's just times change. And for J.J. Redick to say stuff like this, the most idiotic thing I've ever heard. And for me, I'm like this, like you guys speak your opinion, I'm going to speak my opinion. And I think it's very stupid and selfish of you to even make a comment like that. It's crazy. And if you throw enough crap on the wall, a lot of it going to stick.
I mean, do you think it's the white boy thing? You think that just him being white, he doesn't get the respect?
I don't care what color he is. He can be blue. That's a bad man, period. Larry Bird. I tell you what, you ask any guy who played against him, I mean, guys with their right frame of mind, they're going to tell you something totally different than what some of these guys, trying to get their likes and and trying to get their social media likes up and all that stuff. That's all it's about. Because if you knew the game from the inside out, and as a player, you would never say nothing stupid as that.
More than guards played around the basket. So I don't understand the logic for him saying that. When clearly those big guys, even to the big guys today, they get touched a little bit more than little guys because they're around the basket. So it just don't make sense when – this is the thing I hate the most. We had our time. It was a great time. It's their time now.
Yes.
But don't crap on us to prove your point.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense and it's not valid.
Yeah.
But the same thing they look at Sam and myself, the old guys hating.
No,
hating on what? I don't hate on these guys.
You're responding right now.
Yeah.
You're not.
I don't hate on these guys. These guys are great. I just don't like the disrespect.
Yeah.
And to say that about Larry Bird, it was less physical. Is he stupid?
To back MVP.
It's just a stupid comment to make. I mean, it ain't got nothing to do with Steph Curry or Larry.
Yeah.
It's the content.
Exactly. We just broke down the end result.
It doesn't make sense. And he should know better than that.
Yeah.
And I don't care what he feel about me, what his response might be. But when I hear that, and I'm like, you really don't know, do you?
Yeah. All right, that's the great Dominique Wilkins, Hall of Famer, legend, Atlanta Hawk. And you heard what he said. He put J.J. Redick over his knee, pulled his pants down, and spanked that naked ass for disrespecting his era and disrespecting Larry Bird. And you see, when the older players, when they respond, then these modern players and modern ex-players that just retired recently, they start whining and crying, and they start talking about, oh man, these old guys hating, because after Dominique Wilkins said that, J.J. Redick would start going on podcasts. Oh, man, Dominique Wilkins, man, he going around on podcasts cursing me out and hating on me. And I don't know what his problem is. Woo, woo, woo. Well, J.J. Redick, when you was on ESPN, you started all this crap by disrespecting Bob Cousy, disrespecting Larry Bird and stuff like that. You started it. And then Jerry West, when he was living, he responded also. And see, this is what it is. This is the LeBron James mindset, the LeBron James poison that has infected the youth of the NBA, has infected, the players and the guys he hang out with around him. All they do is disrespect, and then it trickled down to his fans. When you see him on social media, you run into him in real life, all they do is disrespect legends of the past. They try to put down the legends to prop up this era and stuff like that. The NBA is the only sport where this happens. And this is caused by LeBron James. It's the reason why he is by far the single worst face of the NBA than ever had, period. When Kobe passed the baton to him, when he went to the Miami Heat or whenever that was, and it's his time to take over and take the league forward, what did he do? He infected the league with all this nonsense and poison, and now it's friction. And what has happened is you have alienated a group of fan base, and that group of fan base is people like my age, late 30s and 40s that grew up watching, 50s that grew up watching the NBA in the 80s and 90s. And what you have done, because you have disrespected that era so bad, disrespected Magic and Larry Bird and all those guys and stuff from that era, you have turned those fans off, and we are not watching the NBA as much. That's the reason why your ratings are in the toilet. Because the young fans today, all they do is watch highlight clips, and they go on about their business doing other stuff. They don't watch the NBA. They don't watch sports. They don't watch full games. And they don't have the money to go out and buy tickets and buy jerseys and stuff like that. They're young. They ain't finna spend no money like that. And this is the reason why your league is the way it is right now. And the NBA is the only sport where these guys disrespect legends of the past. I want to show one more video clip before I go. This is a video clip from the MLB last year. Last year, they were honoring the Negro League players. These were black players back in the day that were not allowed to play in the major leagues because of real racism, not fake victim crybaby racism black people be talking about now. Real racism when they were not allowed to play with the white players. And so the MLB honored them and integrated their stats with the modern, with the regular MLB players, and they honored them. I want y'all to listen to these men speak with reverence and respect when they talk about the legends of the past and what they did and how they paved the way. Listen to the difference between them and ex-NBA players, recently retired NBA players. Listen to the reverence and respect that they have for the guys who paved the way. I'll be right back.
I know our condolences. We know it's been a tough week and appreciate you guys. And in respect to that, just the importance of this game tonight for Rickwood Field and the Negro Leagues and bringing light to the great players that played here. Can you take us into your thoughts there, if you would?
I believe it's just great for the game of baseball, period. It was a time that occurred in our history, and you don't erase history no matter what. It was just a time. And I'm just very glad, and I think all of us up here are very glad and appreciative that we're all coming together the way it should have been years ago, but it's okay. As African American myself, we don't hold a grudge. We just want to be relevant. And today, in integrating everything with their numbers, with what's happening today, now I feel like we all are now Major League Baseball players together, and that's truly how I feel right now.
Walking around here yesterday, and the three of us got really emotional about all the legends that played here, that paved the way for us. What does this mean for you coming back here?
It's important. I mean, it's a huge step in the right direction. Being able to, play on some of the fields that our people played on. When you look at it, you go to Yankee Stadium, Baybrook, you go to Boston, now we get to see, some of our greats who played there and get some of their history.
When I first got here, I just wanted to say thank you, because it's just a part of history. Thank you for paving the way and going through struggles to give me the opportunity of doing what I'm doing. I mean, that's how I felt when I first got here. I looked at the field, and the only thing I could say was, thank you for putting on a uniform. Thank you for grinding every day. Thank you for going through discrimination. Thank you for fighting for us. And that's the only thing I could say was thank you.
All right, that's the MLB players. I just wanted y'all to hear that. Now, you notice the difference between those guys and NBA players. All they were doing was saying thank you. You heard Barry Bonds. All he said, all I want to do is say thank you. Thank you for paving the way. Thank you for going through all the terrible things that they did, actually being discriminated against, racism and stuff like that, which allowed them Barry Bonds and Ken Griffey Jr. allowed them to be able to have a fair chance in the Major League Baseball, and they was able to make millions of dollars and they able to change their lives, all because of what the legends before them. See, MLB, you're not gonna hear that disrespect to any legend. You ain't finna hear nobody disrespect Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron, Joe DiMaggio, Willie Mays, and stuff like that. Oh man, those guys back in the 50s and 60s, they wasn't as good as baseball players as Ohtani. No, you ain't finna hear that. You're not finna hear that. All you're gonna hear is respect. Respect for what they did, because without them, the guys back in the day going through what they went through, Barry Bonds, Ken Griffey Jr., when they came in the MLB in the 80s and 90s, they wouldn't have been able to make millions of dollars and live a comfortable life and stuff that they have now since they're retired. That is the difference. And that's the reason why MLB, their arrow is pointing up, and the NBA, their arrow is pointing down in the dumps. Because, all these players, how they treat their legends, how they disrespect, the older fans. And this is why. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the LeBron James poison that has infected the NBA. The NBA young players, the NBA young fans. Nothing but disrespect. And it's no coincidence that Barry Bonds, Ken Griffey Jr., those guys you heard with Major League Baseball, the reason why they sound like men and they have respect, it's no coincidence that both of them had fathers in their life. Strong father figures to instill discipline and having respect for legends and having respect for elders. That is the importance of fathers. And what happened to LeBron James' father? No fault of his own, but he was raised by his mother. Draymond Green also, if I'm not mistaken, he was raised by his mother. No father around. And you see the difference in how these men speak. Growing up with a father is very important. And you see the difference in the respect by the MLB players and the NBA players. It's time out for that, man. We need to get rid of this poison that LeBron has infected with the NBA and get back to common, decent respect. Respect the NBA players that came before. Because without them, y'all don't have the millions of dollars that y'all have now. Without Russell, Chamberlain, Oscar Robertson, Jerry West, Cousy, and all these guys y'all try to trash, without them, there is no clutch sports and all that stupid crap that y'all got now. Rich Paul, dumbass LeBron James. Respect your elders. Young people, respect your elders. Respect the people who came before you. Because without them, it's no you today. I'll catch y'all next time. I'm out.